Hello everyone, I'm Paul and welcome to another Zenless Zone Zero video. And today I'll be talking about how to build your teams, but not from the perspective of which character you should get, but more from a mentality standpoint and just general knowledge and things to look out for. Of course, as many of you are, I am a free-to-play player myself, so this will be a free-to-play perspective on how to build teams. Now, do keep in mind, I haven't been here since the beginning. I've been here for like 3 months or so, I think. There are people that are far more knowledgeable than I am, and there are people that have more money than I do to spend. But as I'm sure a lot of you are free-to-plays, I hope you can find this guide helpful. So, every time there is a new limited character, there will be a short story. Oh wait, it's an Ellen rerun. There will be a short story, like a side quest, side missions, where you get to actually play as the character that's being advertised here. It's like going to buy some wine and being offered a taste test, right? So that you can know if you like it or not for future reference. And this way you can sort of acquire a taste for the character before you actually decide if you want to incorporate them into your teams, or you want to skip and maybe save for someone else. Now, this is the first banner, coincidentally, where an older limited character returns, namely Ellen. So don't worry too much about missing someone. They will come back, but it will take some time, that's for sure. When building teams, I suppose there are a few things to keep an eye out on. When you take a look at all the characters that are here, not all of them are built equal or created for equal purposes, right? So, Soldier 11, which was my first S rank, for example, is designed as a DPS to do a lot of damage. And if you do a little bit of reading, she is designed to do a lot of damage, especially to stunned opponents. So you will most likely be using her in a team that's designed to quickly stun opponents and make use of this fact.
To what do I owe
Someone like Lucy is a support, and Lucy doesn't spend a lot of time on the field. You don't spend a lot of time playing as Lucy. But she is invaluable for, well, as you can see, support. So you wouldn't want your entire roster to consist of only supports, for example.
I'm at your disposal.
Or only stun characters. Caesar is an exception because she is classified as a defense character, but she covers three roles at once. So it is kind of a unique perspective, right? Caesar is a unique character because of this. I'm not sure if you can make a team with like 3 stun characters. You probably could and show it off in a YouTube video, but that's really not how the game's supposed to be played. I mean, if you have the money and time, you can do whatever you want, let's be honest. But if you're on a timer, or you have limited resources, like I do, you don't just go around building everyone and everything. So, I'll show you an example of a few teams that I use, right?
Ready and waiting.
Let's see if I have presets here. Damn, I have to do shield defense. I kind of forget about it all the time. For example, the first team that I ever made is up here in the top left corner. The classic Soldier 11 stun team. Next to it is a Disorder team I built. And a variation of this team, I call it the Yanagi Super Team, is in the middle left. So over time, as you acquire more agents or more knowledge about the game, you will build different teams. And at first, you will only really need one team. But as you start unlocking more and more late game content, especially those which rotate weekly like shield defense, you will need more than one team to cover everything. For Hollow Zero, you only really need one very strong team, and that's all fine. But for shield defense, especially for these critical nodes which rotate every 2 weeks, right? It's in your best interest as a free-to-play player to get as much S ranks as you can. And getting all of them is kind of difficult, especially from Frontier 5 to 7. But even if you get only A ranks there, it's fine. Now, ideally, you will be able to eventually build 2 teams for this purpose. You'll be using them for a long time. Ideally, one of them will be super effective, like it will cover a weakness, and one of them will have neutral effectiveness. That's the sort of mantra I abide by when making shield defense teams. Now, as your character roster slowly expands, like I have Miyabi and Lycon now, I will use those two as a base for my third team, which will be an ice team. But as you can see, it can take quite a while to get your teams going. And it can be really tempting to go onto YouTube and see someone clearing, like getting insane high scores with using Ben, for example. But what they don't tell you is that they have everything maxed, right? The skills, like most of these are level like 12 out of 12 or 15 out of 15. And another aspect of actually being free to play, it's not only about having characters, right? It's about having the resources to level them.
You have my complete support.
So let's take a look at Yanagi here. Okay, the game considers her to be fully equipped. I don't, but I will tell you why. So, first up, you need 2 kinds of materials to get her to level 60. It costs a lot. Skills. Skills cost a ton of materials, and Denny's as well. These core skills. The skills at the bottom here require a lot of these chips. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. And take that a lot and multiply it by 5. And at that point, you can go to suggestions and see which skills are recommended to upgrade first. That doesn't mean that you should just leave, for example, dodge counter at level 1. You can upgrade it until they start requiring these like purple resources, right? The rarest type. That's my opinion as a free-to-play. But most times the upgrade suggestions are accurate. Of course, don't blindly follow them. You can do your own research. But if you're in doubt, this can be a good starting point. And this tab is another source of, resources that you need to build a character. And as you can see, there are a lot of things to consider when you sum it all up. And this just means that building a character to its full potential is a daunting task. It will take a lot of time, a lot of patience, especially with discs. And another component is trying to get a signature W engine. And if you don't have them, if you don't have the S-rank engines for specific characters, which you most likely won't if you're free to play, you will have to make do with what you have. For example, I use Rainforest Gourmet here. People trash it. Maybe it's not the best here. Maybe Weeping Gemini is better. But I found success with this on Yanagi, for example. In fact, the only S-rank engine I have is for Miyabi, and that's because I had leftover polychromes. And the best fact about this game is that you don't need super optimal equipment to clear all the current endgame content. Now, all improvements will help, But what I really want to tell you is don't put all of your eggs into one basket. Don't level up, for example, if you have Yanagi, don't level her up fully to like all 12s and all the skills.
You have my complete support.
And leave everyone else like struggling to get watered. Okay, you can solo story content, but good luck trying to solo shield defense, for example. My disorder team with these three. Just take a look at Piper. I don't have an S rank drive disc here. That's how fully built my Piper is. And it still does a lot of work. It's also important to build up characters for Deadly Assault, right? As a free-to-play, it's in your best interest to get at least 6 stars here, right? Okay, 9-star rewards, it's mostly just for show. You will get to that point, I will get to that point eventually, but for now we have to work with what we have. And that sometimes means using 2 characters in your team as well. And this is why you do need to level your characters, but don't put, as I said, all of your eggs in one basket. Don't level up only one character and leave everyone else in the dust. The only rotating content that requires multiple teams to actually complete, we have Shield Defense and we have Deadly Assault. So these modes rotate after a set period of time, so the rewards get reset. And these 2 modes require more than one team. So these can be the most difficult ones for you to actually prepare for as a free-to-play. But don't be discouraged, you will get there in time.
Ready and waiting.
A lot of A rank, so the non-limited agents can also be of help. A lot of help. People love to use Nicole.
My services are
I'm not building her, don't ask why, I'm not sure myself. Seth is great for anomaly teams. I built Piper specifically to do the Beyblade thing. You won't have any trouble getting copies of A ranks, right? Like, I have full Piper Mindscapes. But these characters still need all these resources we talked about. The leveling, the skills, the discs, and the engine. All of that you still need to do to farm manually for. And that also takes up time and, well, in some cases money. It might be tempting to go onto YouTube and check out all these cool teams that you don't have yet. And then you get the fear of missing out, right? You don't have a certain character, now all hope is lost. Well, don't be afraid, there will be reruns. There will be reruns. They do take a while, but they keep saying that every character is a must-have or the new character must be skipped, and it's just a cycle of content for every gacha game in existence. So the best thing you can do is you can silence these voices, you can play the stories, or as it said, special episodes, and see for yourself. You can do a bit of reading, what their skills do, how their playstyle would work in theory.
You have my complete support.
So to sum everything up, don't worry too much about it. Do pay attention to the character archetypes, so that you don't end up building too many supports on accident. Or 0 supports. But outside of that, find someone whose playstyle you like and have fun.